Stealth killers are seen as some of the worst killers in DBD, though I don't think that's entirely true, and I feel like they can be pretty decent with a certain playstyle. They won't be nurse tier or anything, but you should do well against certain teams. Similar to Ghostface, you should try to target a few people at a time, though I still think Ghostie is the strongest stealth killer. Though each one has their own nuances. Here, I'll play against mostly decent teams and apply my Ghostie knowledge to them, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so we're on the Thompson's house for this one. So I like to bring insta-downs for most of the non-Ghostface stealth killers, because I think it's pretty important to have as many people one-shotable as possible throughout the match, whether it by them being injured or exposed. So that's why it's a better idea to hit people before going for discordance in this case. And I know there's still time for them, for me to get to them at least. So Ruin lets me spend time going around breaking pallets or even getting a few hits, and when I know I can commit, of course, or Haunted Grounds pops, that's when I usually start going for actual downs. And then it's a lot easier to snowball from there. It's also important to have a sort of mental map of where all of the survivors are on the map, at least their general locations. That's how I knew that Jill would be on this gen and not the Leon who I saw earlier. So right here, I know it's Quentin who did the boon, Leon who just finished the gen, and Claudette and Jill are in the same area. So I can decide on who to go from here, knowing all these locations. It's also important to know when to actually go for the make your choice person. In this case, it's a lot easier to actually down the Leon at this TL wall. So the threat of Claudette being exposed is actually still pretty significant, so I can afford to leave her for a little bit. This way, there are two people that are one-shotable, and only one person can actually go for the save right now. I don't run barbecue or anything like that because you can use the boxes to help you track. So I know where Jill was unhooked, and I can see where all the boxes are, and I can probably predict to which box she'll be at after I hook this person, and I can try to head straight there if she manages to get her box off. Her make your choice has run out, so I know she no longer has DS. And that's also another really good thing about that perk. So Claudette and Leon are together. Quentin was probably doing this gen, and Jill is right here. This also tells me how much the gens have progressed when I down this person and where everyone is. So it's important to keep track of things like that. This was pretty lucky, but if I didn't get the grab, I'd probably just get a hit and go right for Claudette at this point. So there's two people that are one-shottable right now, and only Quentin can really go for the save. And since he's right here, I could probably try getting a hit on him and then patrol the shack to pick off any other rescuers. Seems like they already got to him, but I can still kill Jill when this make your choice runs out. So now I know all three of them are in this area, and them breaking the Haunted was especially lucky for me, but I was still already pretty ahead in terms of gen progress, so they just helped speed things up. I know Leon's still back there, so I can go back to him once he tries healing Quentin, and since his DS will also be gone, kill him quickly as well. The rest of this match is pretty trivial at this point, but it's important to know how to track people using the boxes as pig and keeping as many people one-shottable as possible so you know when to camp and slug and when to actually go for hits. And as a stealth killer, that's your main strength. Sweaty as pig on Thompson's? What? Well, they didn't seem like bad survivors, but you can see how I didn't spend a lot of time chasing when I could avoid it. This guy at 2,000 hours, what? Yeah, I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time chasing them. I probably wouldn't know their looping skill. Private, this guy's 3,000 hours. Wow. Imagine playing DBD for that long. As a 6,000 hour killer. No. Alright, let's move on. So there's at least two people there, maybe one on the other corner and maybe one behind me, but we'll see. Getting some ambush archives done as well. I know there's a third person right behind me. I could probably go back and get them, since they're being careless. So even with boons, I think you can still hit and run, but you have to be very precise. Like you have to know where everyone is as well as where the boon is, so you know where to go to pick them off. But right now, I can't really tell where Leon went, so just hitting people makes things a little awkward. Wait, it's on the other side? Oh, that's unlucky. So they set up a boon here, but I see all my totems are intact, so they probably set it somewhere behind me. Zarina will probably do the box near the carnival and then work her way to the center of the map. I probably should have put a trap here. They're gonna finish that gen anyway, but this is one of the better situations to be in as Pig, with 2 people on the other side of the map, and 2 out of 3 of them being injured, so we could probably patrol this area if we wanted to. Wait, she was back there? Oh, I didn't realize. Even if I don't patrol here, I could probably get them in the next cycle, where I hook the Steve and now all of them are one-shottable, and it's really risky for anyone to go for the save. That was good on their part, but I can probably just camp Steve now and pick him off later. So now there's 2 people dead on hook, and everyone's one-shottable, and as far as I can tell, there's no gen progress that's been made after the time I hooked Steve, so putting traps here was probably a bad idea. So they were both healing by the boon that was too far away from Dinia, so she ends up dying. And Steve also gets exposed, so I can pick him off as well if I want to. So with 2 people left and 2 gens remaining, I can probably play the rest of the match normally. I could stay towards the middle of the map and pick off Claire, but I know exactly where they're going to go when they unhook, and I'll get 2 very clean downs in a little bit. And now I can just chase Zarina normally and finish the match. I don't think I fully committed to hitting someone twice at all this game, and no one seemed to be healing super quickly. Well, at least I could predict where they're going to go. So it goes to show that hitting and running, when done properly, can be still fairly effective, but you have to be very precise and know where everything is before you do it. So now we can apply the same types of concepts to Wraith. I took off Discordance for a barbecue because I think we can get a lot more value out of that. But the gameplay is still pretty similar, really. So everyone's on this side of the map, meaning I can probably stay in this area if I wanted to, and get rid of some pallets. imagine if that were haunted. As usual, it's good to hook people in the corners of the map so you can patrol them a lot better. And now that Haunted is actually in place right now, we can just pick off people one by one. When you have a lot of people one-shottable, whether it be by Haunted or them being injured or make your choice, you can also slug pretty well, especially with Wraith. Just down someone and go on to the next person and keep doing that. It especially works if there's at least one person dead, but we can still do it right now. So Steve picked up Michaela, which means we can go back to them and for second stage on this ace. Oh, I tried to block him while uncloaking, but that movement was a little confusing. I can't really catch anyone right now, so it's best to just hook Leon. And now we can just keep repeating the cycle with the survivors in these favorable locations. So Ace is in this area. Steve is probably heading to save Leon, and no one is on any gens right now. Looking pretty good. It wouldn't be incorrect to slug here, but they're both pretty far away, so there's still time to hook and kill the ace. Poor Leon. Wow, the Wraith drift threw me off a little bit. Unlucky. Wait, he didn't go down? Is he cheating? What? Why did that happen? There's the syringe. I don't even have to look at Michaela right now. I could probably slug pretty effectively right here. Yeah, you can still do these kinds of mind games at these types of tiles, even with someone like Wraith. So we can actually still do similar things with Wraith, using the exposed perks and juggling between everyone, as well as isolating survivors from the rest and targeting them later. Now let's move on to Sadako. Gameplay wise, currently I think she's very similar to Wraith. I've been trying to make use of Condemned, but we don't really have any indication of how much Condemned people really have, and it's hard to really keep track like that. But the most important thing is that we don't know where they have to deposit their cassettes to lose their Condemned, so it's really hard to make use of that and use it to your advantage. I'll still try to learn more about it though and see if there's like some sort of pattern for the which tape or which TV survivors need to go to, but we'll see. You can spam the teleports and try to get people condemned pretty quickly, but you're also kind of shooting yourself in the foot by not saving those teleporters when you actually need them. Kind of like Artist, where you spend crows to check gens, but then you'll have few crows to actually chase survivors with, or there'll be a much longer cooldown for that. But yeah, it's still pretty hard to use it to your favor. I'm actually kind of disappointed with Sadako as a killer. She seems not unique at all. Like, she's basically a copy of other killers, in my opinion. But that's not to say she's not decent. I think she is still pretty decent. Like in the movie, you don't actually see her constantly teleporting to people, even when she doesn't actually finish them off. It should be more of like some sort of finale thing. Like, you can do something else to get them fully condemned, and then you can teleport to them where you can hopefully finish them off. But that's just me. She doesn't seem very thematic at all. But her aesthetic is pretty good, though, in my opinion. Now that everyone's over here, I can teleport closer to the hook and stop Jonah from rescuing and put them in a much worse position, like you would do with Wraith. Wait, Jonah actually stayed back here, so I can still kind of harass both him and Michaela in this area while forcing a second stage on the hook, hopefully. Wait, Michaela actually went for the rescue? I guess I could either slug or hook Chris here, depending on how easy they are to get. They're probably resetting together somewhere. This isn't necessarily ideal, though. I still can't really tell where they are, and if they actually stayed together and reset, I'd be in a much worse position. Though luckily I found someone who I had already hooked. This was a mistake. I should have gone for Chris instead of Michaela. There shouldn't have been enough time for me to get to her, but it seems like I get lucky and down her here. Sadako's chase power isn't actually that bad. It's a little better than Ghostface's, but it's not always that effective on certain loops. This is a lot more ideal, where I'm knowing where everyone is, and I can easily pick off Jill with the Haunted still active. With everyone one-shottable, I could probably slick here, but it's probably better to play safe and finish off Jill. And besides, I don't really know where Michaela is, so while I'm waiting for her at the hook, Jonah could pick up Jill, and I'd lose the kill. When someone's on death hook, it's often better to use up the middle hook instead of one of the hooks at the edge of the map, similar to Ghostface, but at this stage it doesn't really matter. now I can just play the rest of the match normally. Is he still where I hooked him? So yeah, you'd still play Sadako pretty similar to Wraith, like getting them exposed and stopping hook rescues, and maybe slugging if you have to, but the gameplay is still very similar. And I have some Ghostface stuff in the works, like I'll do another world tour, and I was gonna test Sadako's perks. Well, I already have, but maybe I'll make an actual video on that or something. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.